Let's go to Jeff Pierce for a little tech look. Alphabet's stock has been doing great, Jeff. Put in a fresh new high in the past week, over $200, but then gave some back. Is there any nervousness around its relationship with the government, or is this just the usual bickering by regulators against big tech?
I mean, right now it seems like investors are pretty confident in not seeing an extreme reaction like Google, the divestiture of Google or any of the browser type methods that we've seen the DOJ announce. And Google said Friday they called the DOJ's plan to force them to sell Chrome browser be extreme and at odds with the law. They urged the judge to take caution to avoid stifling innovation as well as future investment. And the company said in the filing that extreme remedies are discouraged by the courts. The remedies for anti-competitive conduct must be the same type or classes of violations. Now, they also announced their remedy proposals to the DOJ case. In a blog, the company said they strongly disagree with and will appeal the decision of the Department of Justice, the decision about our search distribution contract. So the proposed remedies are directed at that. The remedies, just to break them down quickly, is they want to allow browser companies to have multiple default search partner agreements across platforms. They would make Android agreements non-exclusive and allow them to unbundle Google Play. They also said that Gemini won't be required to be distributed on those devices for around 3 years. This would include those agreements, of course, with Apple, which we know those $20 billion in annual payments to Apple were a big part of the case. So the question mark now is what we're going to hear from the judge, which we're expecting that to come later this year. Although if Google, or I should say Alphabet, does appeal the ruling, that could certainly extend this. And whether or not the new president, which takes office on the 20th of January, is going to alter the way this case is handled is also a question mark.
Okay. So, I mean, look, anything's possible, of course, but we also have a new administration coming in, too. So, this is going to be interesting to see how it unfolds over the coming months and whether or not there'll be any shift in approach with the new administration.
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think, right now it looks like the focus is going to be on these exclusive agreements, similar to what we've seen with Apple. And that's, I think, what the market is reacting to, or really having kind of a lack of reaction to around this case. Now, if it seems that the winds are kind of blowing in a different direction and we are going to see them start to focus on, the Chrome browser, for example, that could certainly change. But right now, Google says their proposal allows Google search engine to continue to offer Google search engine to their users and earn revenue with their partnerships. They also said that the way they've set this up, they think it will allow that they comply, ensure that they comply with the court's orders while not giving the government too much power over the online experience. They also think it fully addresses the court's findings without putting any sort of privacy or security at risk, which, of course, has been a big part of their case, is that privacy and security side of the story.
It seems like Alphabet's offered a lot of different options on how to kind of navigate this situation. Which, I mean, it seems fairly reasonable. I get that the browser is really important, having the search function as separate and kind of agnostic of that still gives them all the revenue and gives developers and people a choice too, which seems fairly reasonable. I mean, like, does Apple not have like Safari? Do people not use that? I mean, it seems like ultimately there's going to be a choice made, but if people do choose to use Chrome, then, I mean, they should still, I mean, I don't know, but the idea that they might make them actually sell Chrome as a browser, it feels like there's so many other ways to be able to democratize search that does seem kind of extreme.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you hear Google talk about it, they said that the court has accepted that browser companies occasionally assess Google's search quality relative to their rivals, and they find that Google is superior. They say companies like Mozilla, these contracts that actually generate revenue for them. I think when you look at the proposals from both sides, the DOJ, obviously proposing them to divest their Chrome browser. They also wanted exclusive agreements for third-party companies to go away with, names like Apple and Samsung. They talked about divesting Chrome. They talked about, divesting the Android mobile operating system, as well as providing their search index. So when you see all of these options provided by the DOJ, as well as a number of options provided by Google. I think that we're seeing both sides kind of throw as much as they can out there. The most extreme situation and then the minimum that they could get away with in the case of Alphabet, and kind of waiting for the judge to decide on that. I think the way that the market seems to lean is they expect the focus to be on those agreements, which is something that they can handle. And the rest of it, I think they're kind of looking at, nothing to do with the browser, really, especially them having to divest. I don't think the market's anticipating that at all.
Okay. All right. Alphabet's near the highs and obviously still dealing with the government threats, but they are not alone, as there are ongoing cases across the board for 5 out of the mag 7, 4. So, I'm not sure how much it really moves the stock, but I think also the market assumes that the tech companies are kind of always going to win out in a way. So, worth keeping an eye on in case it doesn't go their way. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that.